I'm now joined in our Johannesburg studio by Gabriel Shumba from the Zimbabwe Exiles Forum. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you very much.
First off, Joice Mujuru has been ousted, of course, by the Zanu PF Central Committee, as we mentioned. What should we read into this? I mean, there were a lot of allegations that were sort of being pointed towards her. It almost seems as though this was all calculated, really, to get to where we are ultimately, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. I think we should read into this latest development, the imposition of a Mugabe dynasty in Zimbabwe, or at the very least, an imposition of a proxy government that rules at Mugabe's pleasure even after he dies in Zimbabwe, in the form of current Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Mnangagwa Emerson. So basically what we are seeing is, as your reporters have said, a coup in the making. But what is even more worrisome is the fact that these what looks like trumped up charges are emanating at a time before Zanu PF for Congress in a few days. And secondly, there has been a lot of pages of pro-Mujuru loyalists who are very powerful. And I think what we can expect is a cataclysmic development of politics in Zimbabwe.
Now, how did the relationship really fall apart? Perhaps just a brief sort of history between Joice Mujuru and President Robert Mugabe. At some point, people would have seen her as the obvious successor and the golden child, really, of President Robert Mugabe.
Well, I think Mugabe has been making this scenario over a long period of time. It's not something new. If we remember, when Mujuru took over as vice president, it was actually Mnangagwa who was supposed to be the vice president, and then Mugabe imposed his will. Presently, what we have, even as we speak, the Politburo is sitting, and Mujuru has refused to attend the Politburo meeting. The reason being, she has seen this as a calculated move to dispossess her of president's apparent, which was his, you know, not only by virtue of the fact that the Zanu PF constitution would have dictated it did not been amended. In fact, it's in the process of being amended. The Politburo approved its amendment, but it did not been amended. She would have been heir apparent as vice president of the country. So now what we have is a possible conflagration, and people might well ask, why should Africa be concerned? Africa should be concerned because it has serious ramifications for democracy on the continent. And secondly, there are serious possibilities that any conflagration in Zimbabwe will impact on South Africa and other neighboring countries.
This now, for me, raises the issue of Joice Mujuru's safety now in the country. I mean, I don't see her taking this lying down. I'm sure she'll want to fight, but what does that mean now for her safety and the family's safety?
Well, we understand that some of her children have already fled the country, and it speaks volumes about Zanu PF's way of dealing with dissent, right, or disagreement. You know, that we have also seen that people as powerful as the party secretary for administration, Didmas Mtasa, had to throw in the towel when violent youths forced them their supporters not to be able to vote peacefully. So this is a track record of Zanu PF. It imposes its will on people that dissent, and it is a party that is violent. I think it is very clear, and I think what it also means for Joice Mujuru is that her life is in danger, and there are actually 5 possible scenarios that I see panning out. One is the possibility of a very, very serious implosion within Zanu PF, which can cause destabilization within the region. In South Africa and other countries are well advised to watch with a very, very open eye the developments there. 2, we are likely to see repression in the form of arrest, because we already have these charges of so-called plots to assassinate President Mugabe, but we are not seeing it for the first time. Remember, Tsvangirai was hauled before court on treason charges. Any opponent, if you go back into history, you will see that even Dumiso Davengwa, the previous minister, the current president of ZAPU, the previous Minister of Home Affairs, was hauled before courts because of treason charges. And we also saw Ndabaningi Stole, the president of the then Zanu Ndonga, being held before courts on treason. So everybody who dissents against Mugabe stands the risk of treason charges, and it's very, very scary. But that's one scenario. Possible arrest and possible ramifications into a civil war from Mujuru loyalists.
We are out of time. I'm going to have to leave you before you carry on with your 5 points, and it's unfortunate that we leave the discussion here. But thank you very much, just because of time. Thank you so much for that. That's Gabriel Shumba, live in our Johannesburg studios. He's, of course, a human rights lawyer from Zimbabwe Exiles Forum.